Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me and allowing me to continue to be your daily advocate. If you're new here or you're not subscribed for any reason, please do me a huge favor and hit the subscribe button. Thank you to all of you who have been watching and following me for so long. It truly means a lot, and I'm glad that I can be this person.
I want to start out right here, though, and address this new BlockFi versus SEC Gov settlement, because I believe it's going to go a long way in showing us what the SEC is trying to do here. I tweeted out, BlockFi's new terms show just how sick the SEC Gov is. Existing users can keep earning interest, but new users will be barred from opening accounts. This is clearly not about protecting anyone other than the incumbents, #XRP. And the main thing I got from this settlement was that BlockFi was going to allow its current users to keep earning interest, but they were going to have to stop new users from coming in and making accounts. This is so sickening because it shows that the SEC had no interest in protecting the retail investor, because they're allowing the retail investor to keep using these accounts on BlockFi and keep earning interest. It shows that there's virtually no risk with these accounts, or else the SEC would have shut them down. The SEC is simply trying to stall BlockFi so that the incumbents can move in and offer the same products BlockFi is offering right now. They don't want BlockFi to get a head start. They want to slow BlockFi down so that the big banks can move their way in and take over this industry. The other very critical thing I got from the settlement is that Ripple is currently fighting for all of crypto. And if we take a look at the SEC's press release, they say crypto lending firms offering securities like BlockFi's BIAS, which is their high yield account that was barred by the SEC, should take immediate notice of today's resolution and come into compliance with federal securities laws. And just imagine what this would say if the SEC beat Ripple and claimed XRP was a security. They would be releasing a notice just like this saying that all cryptocurrencies must come into compliance with the SEC. Ripple is currently fighting for all of crypto, and if Ripple wins, they are going to save the entire crypto industry from the SEC, and likely any settlement that Ripple makes with the SEC is going to define the path forward for the cryptocurrency industry. At the end of this video, I'm going to show you guys exactly what I think this means and what the main terms of the settlement are going to be around when the SEC and Ripple come together and finally reach a settlement just like BlockFi did. Before we do that, though, you guys need to see this clip. Crypto Eerie brought this interview with an executive at the Bank of England, and you guys are going to watch this and you are not going to believe it. If this doesn't make you bullish on Ripple and XRP, I don't know what will. Ripple and XRP are transforming the global financial system and are going to be a key part in building a financial industry built on blockchain. This goes to show you that no matter what antics we see in the news, what we see going on between Ripple and the SEC, there is no doubt in our minds that Ripple and XRP are going to be massive in the future. Listen up to this, and like I said before, this is an executive from the Bank of England, so take this very seriously and listen closely.
In the UK, again, very interesting.
The space is very, very dominated by Ripple. A lot of that obviously is due to basically corporate lobbying, but I wouldn't say that's necessarily a bad thing. So in the UK there is a serious, I'd say, dominance within the CBDC and institutional space by Ripple. Now the Bank of London's not publicly partnered with Ripple, but there's a lot of policy and planning overlap with the two. So obviously you can make some correlations there. But I mean, even the European Union, Ripple's partnered with the Digital Euro Foundation, so you've got essentially the two biggest European markets with essential dominance. So I wouldn't go as far as saying the space is Ripple dominated, but they have a very heavy influence just outside of their size of a corporation. So they're very important to both economies here, absolutely.
So not a surprise, a very heavy influence in the UK and throughout Europe. Now, these clips are talking about XRP and talking specifically about the on-demand liquidity, that offering, which is the bridge asset for moving fiat to fiat around the globe. And also the question of how the SEC lawsuit is affecting the view, if you will, from the UK, I think you're going to be very pleased to hear the answer.
How much mention there is in XRP in particular in the Ripple offerings? Is there talk of offerings that involve XRP and those that don't involve XRP? Is the use of XRP sort of implied, or just any of your thoughts around that subject?
So, within the banking space, a lot of the things we like to use is more, a lot of our sort of work revolves around obviously risk management. So when we're talking about frameworks, I wouldn't say just reviewing XRP. It's one of many, but it's one that does stand out, especially within the ESG style of investment, environmental, social, governance. I mean, it meets all of them, which is a space which is going to be very important to crypto going forward. Obviously, the British government has its carbon neutral policy by 2040, and obviously fintechs and blockchain is a serious factor of that. Now, when it comes to XRP, this obviously is not just the only one reviewed for this matter, but obviously it meets the environmental targets. Ripple's essentially carbon neutral with its partnerships. The XRPL is extremely environmentally friendly, which again is a very important factor going forward. And especially with institutional adoption, there's a lot of questions with Bitcoin and Ethereum just due to the power usage alone, among many other factors. The governmental side, governance is a very difficult one to measure with crypto because there's not a sort of combined framework. I mean, the G20 is working towards it. The Bank of International Settlements has their own policy, the World Economic Forum, Davos, they have all set out agendas, so to speak, but there's not really been any combined framework as of such yet. But going back to your original question, XRP is mentioned, but is there any mention of like the liquidity provided by XRP? Like, is this idea of liquidity discussed and like what role that will play? I don't know if that's a smart question or not. Yeah, no, I mean, liquidity is a sort of key concern for both the side, especially with remittance. I mean, liquidity is everything when it comes to economies. I mean, as far as my thinking goes, the 2008 crisis was simply a liquidity crisis. When liquidity dries up, markets tend to react in very bizarre ways. Now, obviously, we are having some issues with the inflation within the UK, if not the entire world. And when we're seeing that in markets, there is the question of a liquidity crisis. Now, we have had consultation with Ripple about its liquidity hub, and
boom. So I know that was a long clip, but listen to what he says. He tells us directly the Bank of England is looking at XRP. XRP solves all the liquidity problems that we saw in the financial crisis. He says he wants to work with Ripple on their liquidity hub. He says the Bank of England wants to use XRP to facilitate remittances because it makes cross-border payments easier, and I didn't get to it because the clip was getting long. He goes on to say that England does not care what the SEC Gov says. It is completely independent, and they will go forward heavily examining the use of XRP. There should be no doubt in your mind that countries all over the world are going to utilize the power of Ripple and XRP. They are all watching them right now and figuring how they can use Ripple and XRP to make their business better. There's no doubt in my mind that if the Bank of England is looking at this, central banks all over the world are already incorporating this or working to do it as we speak. Let's keep moving though, and this is just to show you that Ripple is no normal startup. Mr. Garlinghouse met with the president October 3rd. Then the president went on a nice little run to have meetings with finance ministers all around the world. What could that be about? Obviously poking fun at the idea that there is no way Ripple is a normal company. XRP is not a normal asset. These two are going to be so heavily involved in a future financial system, and the evidence is right in front of us. Keep moving though, and right here we have DBS Digital Exchange offers trading services between Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, and XRP. How big is DBS? Well, how about $501 billion on the books, or $650 billion in US dollars? And what does that mean? Well, that means that the biggest banks in the entire world are getting into XRP, getting into trading of XRP, going to start creating liquidity for XRP, and eventually all these assets on all these banks' books are going to become liquid to XRP, and that will be reflected in the price of the tokens. The last thing I want to share with you, and this is massive, is this document from 2018, essentially foreshadowing the Ripple versus SEC case. I believe this is huge because this goes such a long way in showing us that everything we're watching right now was all a plan. It was all a setup to be a landmark case in the cryptocurrency industry that would be later on used to define the rules of cryptocurrency. It was designed to usher in regulations that every crypto company would have to follow. It was staged to be a landmark case. If we take a look at this document from 2018, titled Ripple Labs Case Will Address Key Cryptocurrency Questions, and it's important to make sure you guys understand this is being released prior to any public disclosure that the Ripple SEC case would ultimately happen, and they are already foreshadowing this case occurring to address key cryptocurrency questions in 2018. Specifically, what questions? Do cryptocurrencies that function primarily as a medium of exchange and other ways operate like traditional currencies, example Ether, Ripple, and Bitcoin, qualify as securities under the US securities laws? This proves that there are higher powers planning what we are watching right now. This lawsuit was meant to be a landmark case, and right here, another quote: "We may be back with our friends from the Treasury and the Federal Reserve and ask for additional legislation. Until then, we eagerly await to see what the courts will say." This is prior to this entire lawsuit between Ripple and the SEC. This shows that there are higher powers controlling what we're watching right now. Sit back, be patient, understand XRP and Ripple are not going anywhere. We are watching a movie, and it wins with XRP investors being correct.
So enjoy your day, everybody. I'm always here for you. Leave any comments or questions below, and be sure to subscribe. But thanks, everybody. I really appreciate you. Enjoy your day, and I always have your back. So thanks so much, everybody.